to press record, it'll probably just notify you that you're being recorded. Yep, beautiful.
Good to go.
Excellent. All right, so welcome to The Buzz with Bernadette. Today we're excited to have Scott Taylor join us on the podcast. Scott is not your average guest. He's an FBI-trained behaviour expert, just correct me if I get anything wrong, who's been keeping a close eye on Married at First Sight Australia. He's the go-to guy for understanding the little things we often miss, like the quick facial expressions and the way people choose their words that tell us what's really going on between the couples on the show. Scott's been sharing his insights on Instagram and TikTok, where he's not only broken down the body language and speech of the contestants, but also made some spot-on predictions about the show's twists and turns. Join us as we chat with Scott about his findings and what they reveal about the couples on Married at First Sight Australia. Now, welcome. How are you?
Great to have you. So, really good. So there's one part I will mention. I know that it was mentioned in a couple of the articles saying FBI trained. I've trained with some of the lead people from the FBI. So Joe Navarro, who was from the FBI Behaviour Unit, I did his complete mastery program. And then I was very fortunate to get some one-on-one coaching from Robin Drick, who was the head of the Behaviour Unit for the FBI, aside from a range of other people. So I've been very fortunate to learn from a lot of wonderful people and to be able to share some of these skills. It's been unusual using reality TV to help get out some communication skills about nonverbal. So it's been interesting and very rewarding.
But it's really good because then you've caught like an audience that I don't know that you would have naturally got a hold of before, you know?
It's very, very true. So my work normally, because I'm 29 years security, safety and risk. So I do from security consulting to bodyguarding, mass gathering events, protecting people in mass gathering areas and retail spaces and others. And so I wanted to learn more about the behaviour profiling elements to keep people safe, picking people with bad intent. What I've realised now is whether it's the recruitment space and people trying to learn who's fake from ChatGPT resumes, or whether it's relationship tips or whatever, we all just want to connect and better understand with people. And so, yes, it is definitely a whole range of things I never expected to happen when I started a TikTok doing behavior profile reviews of reality TV.
I know. Well, I was just like, this is how I came to see you. I was just Googling some stuff about maths. And then this whole thing came up, the Daily Mail UK. Like, I don't know if you know, you made it there. And I was like, oh, right, okay. So then I searched you on TikTok and I was like, wow. And I mean, who's got time to watch long videos? But you're doing like some 10-minute videos, like sharing all the insights on, picking everything apart.
And TikTok was very new to me because I've been on LinkedIn and Instagram for some time. And so we're doing TikTok. And then when I was asked sort of, how do you think this will work? I said, look, to give some meaningful things as well, it's going to be 7 to 10 minutes for doing these videos. And I thought no one is going to stay on for that amount of time for these videos. But yeah, surprisingly people are, because I'm getting feedback from a lot of things like at the end of video. So I'm just really glad that there's been a benefit from people if they can take one or two things away that help with some of the personal, professional relationship dynamics. So I'm really happy with that.
Absolutely. Well, TikTok does encourage, the longer form video. So did you find you got more followers? Have you got new followers on TikTok more or more on Instagram?
So funnily I literally only started the TikTok for doing these. When I was doing just the other things that I do, was recommended to me to do TikTok. So I started basically from scratch and thinking, a 51-year-old person doing these sort of things, like how am I going to go? And I think, now I'm getting sort of between 20 to 30,000 people per video sort of coming on, and I've got, I think we've just broken 3,000 people actively following. But the really wonderful bit out of it on TikTok is I'm getting between 50 to 100 comments, but some really good interactions like on there as well. And then Instagram, I think, that sort of peaked a lot when Daily Mail did the article and then tagged and shared and embedded some of the videos. It's gone a bit crazy since then. So I've just been asked to do an interview for a paper in Denmark, and a range of different media outlets now are having conversations about this. But it means we're talking about connecting with people. So perfect. I'm really happy that we are.
That's exactly right. Well, let me know when Carl and Jackie O call you, because they're my favorite. And
It's been recommended to me for the videos for them. I think, I mean, regardless of whatever organization or agency and these sort of things, I think that we all just have our own spin on wanting to understand and connect with people better, or that we've got some confidence issues and we want to understand how we can present and communicate better, or even read others. So yeah,
that's right. We learned that through COVID as well, that human connection is just, one of the most important things, going back to basics. So
yeah, you're 100% right. And the thing is, a lot of these things, and for people that wouldn't have seen the videos and that, as well, as whether it's face to face or online, a lot of these tells are the same. So if you're dealing with somebody online, like in this Zoom environment, and something that you say causes them discomfort, we see the similar things. We see that their blink rate will spike. We'll see that they'll duck their chin to cover this power zone, or they'll angle their body away to cover the ventral area. There'll be changes in their speed, volume, and pitch. So the thing is, whether it's online or face to face, this works. But you're so true.
Yeah.
COVID just caused us to rethink our communications.
Yeah. And when I jumped at the chance to message you over on TikTok regarding the interview, and then I slept on it, and then I woke up going, wow, what am I doing? He's gonna just see all my faults. He's gonna but I thought, who cares? You just got to do it. Yeah,
it's not. I mean, the thing is, and it's not the same. The beauty about the beauty, I mean, there's some good and some bad bits, I suppose, if I can be a bit open and vulnerable about it, for a bit. The good bits is I get to see sometimes people I communicate with and give some elements about their communication style, and I see the light come on in them because they're able to share their story a bit better, whether that's, in personal or professional dynamics. The bad bit with this is the more that you really switch on and to people's facial expressions and some of the other non-verbals, is you also then get a feel for the stronger parts of emotions, even when it's bad. And so there's things now that I've been in circumstances, well, to share, one which is a different sort of vein, because some of the work I did previously with women's domestic violence shelters and homelessness and others, there's been times that I've been watching some dynamics and interactions, and I've seen the sudden change. And you get that really strong feeling where it was really evident with a couple of things that there's a very, very bad dynamic going on there. And so you get a lot of that as well. So, I mean, you pick up a lot of the good, but you also pick up the bad. But I suppose that's the beauty of the emotions that we feel.
Yeah, exactly. And your wife, are you a really good communicator with your wife? Because sometimes they can marry a mechanic, but then your car's never fixed.
That is one really wonderful question. I think I'm human, so we fall into some of the same cells. One of the things I mentioned in one of the recent videos was when people are trying to communicate, we sometimes don't have conversational alignment. And what I mean by that is, you've got to pick what sort of conversation you're having, because there's three types. There's the practical, there's the emotional, and then the social. And I fall into the same trap that something will happen, and based on that, my wife might be having an emotional conversation about what she has gone through, and my response is to jump to a practical conversation. Here's what we can do to fix that.
Yeah.
And that's not right. There's times that you need to be able to, as part of communication, know that that's what that person's needing, and they need to be able to have the support or vent, or just to hold space for them, not jump. And so I make the same mistakes as anybody. I'm probably more in tune when I see about the impact of my words and the feelings of others and these sort of things. But you still have your own drives and other parts. I'm somebody that wants to fix things for people and want to help. So, yeah, we've got a wonderful dynamic. Same as I do, with my children. I'm very, very fortunate. You're with that, but yeah, definitely still make mistakes as well.
Yeah, that's so true, because you find that you're always telling. I know I'm always telling my partner, I just want to vent, and then they just want to fix. And I feel like it's just all males. They just want to fix the problem, and you're like, no, I'm fine. I just wanted you to hear me, like a girlfriend would listen to me and talk.
And so one of the things, when you look back on this, what you'll just realize is, when you talked about that, that's obviously important to you that occurs, because the same thing as you said that was, you slowed your speech, made it more defined, and put your hand across your heart as you said that. So that's an important part that you're supported with doing that. I didn't mean to make you
I
uncomfortable. Like
did,
I've
no,
always
I
said it,
did
but it's
too. I
just,
was like, it just
but,
really
but,
hurt.
but
Yeah.
but at the same time, you did that like it was slower words and a slight head tilt, which is showing some vulnerability. So to me, straight away, and that's what I'm saying. Some of these things is the combination of different communication channels can be very powerful. And so I felt that more in what I saw with your combination of your words and non-verbals, and that's why me verbalizing it then I saw the flash of surprise. So
Oh, that
that's
is
the thing about being present. Well,
that,
it's like I said, it's everyone has the ability for learning, like and doing these things. But the thing is, the hard part is in communication. We either have a preset agenda, or we're not truly listening, or waiting for an opportunity to speak. And if you're fully present with the other person, and as Robin Dreeke says, non-judgmentally curious, then you see the beautiful nuances of the communication. And so, because I'm so focused on this conversation with you, like that's all that's important to me at this moment. Is I saw and I felt that because of the different things that you said, and that's with facial expressions and body language, we're looking for what's not getting said in words, but people are showing you in their behaviors. And you need to be present to do that.
that's right. Have you ever met anyone who has been one of your most difficult people to read?
We have different, because there's so many communication channels. And to, I don't want to bore you with the details, but there's the facial micro expressions, there's the non-verbals, which isn't just your body language and gestures. Everything about a non-verbal is, in other words, as well, how people are attired, what they've brought with them to the conversation. Then there's statement and word and statement analysis, why we select the words we do in the ordering. Then there's the vocal layered analysis. So in other words, rhythm, speed, volume, pitch, and all these other things.
Mm,
People that can sometimes be a bit more difficult and guarded in other areas still show in others, because the brain knows what it knows. So whatever your true intent is or your emotional state, there'll be elements of emotional leakage that will be able to be seen and picked up. So some people are more guarded than others. And I also get the question, what about people that are neurodivergent in a range of others?
yeah.
We all have an element of our communication baseline. And I'm just looking for deviations from that. But initially, I'm just curious and present to find out where that baseline is and what it sits for you.
Yeah.
So far, there's definitely been some people that have been, some people are easy to read than others, like for sure. But I'm normally able to get a pretty good read on
Yeah.
people.
No, that's good. All right. So we will get into some of the maths characters now. Because when you were talking,
Okay.
then it kind of just made me think of Sarah, Sarah and Tim.
Yep.
I feel like she's a real piece of work. And I feel like when someone's about to attack her, she gets this she forms this thing on her mouth, like in her area of her mouth. I can't explain it. And then
Yep.
she's ready to deflect an attack. And that's what I
Yeah.
feel like with her.
Well, so I mean, a couple of things. First thing for the people listening to this is that we always gravitate to the face, and the thing is because it's the first spot we look for honesty, and just for different feelings and emotions. But we've all had social contracts with our faces since we were born. When you first got that present, it's terrible, but you need to smile and say you like it, or you go to a friend's place for dinner and you need to smile and like it. So there's a lot of tells in the face, and we get facial micro expressions, and Sarah has a lot of those. So she holds a lot of tension in across her face. She shows lip compression and lip withdrawal, and that occurs when people are in that stress and discomfort situation.
Yeah.
She also ducks her chin and covers that power zone that I mentioned as well. So what happens is when she's got some parts of discomfort, she does both gets attention, like in the lips and mouth, and withdrawal. So that's why you see that what you'll
Right.
see with her. And so that's a pretty strong indicator. She also has a verbal tell with, she says the word like a lot, but it peaks as her filler when she's under stress and duress. So aside from all these other ones that she has, you've picked up there on her clearer tells, sure.
She's got a lot. I mean, you must be having a field day with this show. But do you feel like her intentions are, do you feel like she really wants to make it right with Tim?
I think that she's going through some of the standard personality responses now and love bombing him with some of the support and others to try and do that. I think she is more worried about public perception because her word selection as well is, you might have seen in one of the last videos, I said that she's what I call an optometrist or an eye specialist. I'm here. I want to show you that I want to be here, which is all about I. It's self-centered. So she does want to be there, but it's just not for him. So I believe, similar to like Tori as well, that people can put their values on hold sometimes to try and maintain some more airtime. So, regardless of any of the other sort of media updates on leagues and where they're going, the way that she's acting now is very, very self-centered, not relationship-centered, or trying to work through the issues. She's trying to manage public perception or follower perception.
Yeah. Plus, I do feel like she's completely still besotted with her ex, and it never would have come out unless it got found out. She never.
Yeah. People do eye blocking behavior in that as well. And so when you notice when they speak about the phone that she gets a spiked blink rate or eye blocking behavior, which can be she's keeping her eyes closed for longer or will adjust part of with her vision in those areas as well. So I'd say it's highly likely there's some content in the phone. I said that from day one. As soon as she was first questioned about the phone, there was so many indicators and deceptive indicators around that time. So strong discomfort there. So yeah, I do not believe for a second that she has been there the whole time for the right reasons. But upon saying that, there was a strong indicator with Tim in one of the first couple of episodes where they said, "Are you over your ex?" And he's gone with the body language and words, said, "Oh yeah, I'm definitely over, 100% like I'm over her." So his body language is not congruent. Firstly, that he was doing the head shake of no as he was saying, "Yes, I'm over her." And he was adding in the extra words as "I'm definitely over, certainly, yeah, I'm over her." And he was adding in what we call filler words. He was trying to convince. So truth tellers convey, liars convince. When there's additional seller language, they're trying to convince you of their position. So it's another deceptive indicator.
Wow. I'm going to need to take notes on this. And also, she's got a really, I know, I'm going to like replay this and take all my notes. She's also got a very masculine energy as well. And I find when she gets attacked, she just feels like she wants to attack back, so that then, the weaker people will leave her alone. And, and I loved, what was his name, Jaden, how he's like, no, I'm not going to back down. I'm going to keep interrogating.
Yes.
And she
Some people
hate
use
that kind of person.
That dominant type person, like yes, in other words, that's that pride and protective type response as well. So she's got some quite ego-driven triggers around there, but her motivation is public perception that's driving it. So in other words, not is this right what I'm saying or doing, it's how is this going to be perceived by the people I want to like and or follow me.
Yeah.
And that's what drives like her action. That's why she's getting that defensive response on some of those. So yeah.
I think she did say that as well. She was like, I'm pretty sure she said, I'm just going to look terrible. This is going to make me look bad or something. She said something to that effect.
Yeah.
But look, and also just quickly on Andrea and Richard, the older couple.
Yes.
Now, what, because they're not really giving them a lot of airtime, but it's just all.
Actually, I need to interrupt you then. Older couple, she's 51 and I'm 51. So when we say older couple,
in relation, no, well, I can't speak. Not that I'm going to divulge my age, but I can't speak here. But just in relation to the rest of the people, they're the older ones.
Yeah, gotcha.
Happened like she just got the ick, didn't she? Is that all, or she's just her contract has ended now and she's over him? I don't know.
I would say that, there was definitely some strong reactions, like initially when he was sharing some content, but there's got to be more to this than what's getting showed, because she's got some stronger feelings and emotions, but she's very comfortable in that position articulating them. So when she's communicating, and I said earlier on, that's a great example about the conversation between practical and emotional. There's not a conversational alignment there. So in that last episode, so while she's speaking, she's saying, I'm feeling this way and I need you to understand this. She's quite steady with her speaking cadence. She's not showing any other signs of discomfort. She's got a chin up and open as well. Her gesture pattern is still consistent, all those. So she's balanced and comfortable with that. Whereas Richard, on the other hand, changed his breathing pattern to short, sharp, and higher up, short words, short bladed gesturing and everything. So he's in that trying to have an emotional thing and venting what he's feeling. And that's why there's not that alignment there. And so what happens is people get in a cycle of that and they don't realize the impact of their words. So you saw that rising tension and he was just not aware of that. So there's definitely not a lack of alignment there. But I would say because she's so comfortable and confident with that, with her actions, and is able to articulate that, I'd say that there's more that's occurred. She reminds me in some elements of Eden's the same. She's emotionally intelligent and able to articulate her position quite well. And that's what I see with Andrea as well.
Yeah, that's right. And I do feel there's something else there too, because I don't know, just as a girl, I've noticed she's just looking more preened, like she's got some new hair extensions, she's got some pink hair in, she's done her makeup better. And I'm just thinking, okay, what's going on? But she's not doing it for her partner. So is it because she just is doing it for TV? I don't know. I just feel like there is something
Oh,
there.
I think everyone that's on the show, like, goes through some type of journey for things and that as well. And as they sort of build, it might be some more self confidence and awareness. It might be about the
Yeah,
fact that some of the attention they're getting, and the follow back from that. I
yeah.
mean, it's so limited with what we see with some of the interactions, but there would definitely be more with the dynamic than what we've seen, because she's in a much stronger, more resolute position than what you would estimate just from that when he vented a couple of things sitting on the lounge.
That's right. Now let's get into Tori, because she really does my head in. She came on the scene like really headstrong, like, I'm so tough. I will never let a man walk all over me. Like, she just came in like a pit bull. And
Yep.
then straight away, we just saw her being like, she was, what's her partner's name?
Jack.
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 He just dominated her from the word go, and she allowed it. And it's just not what I was expecting. She blew me away with that. So
Yeah, I
what?
mean, a couple of things. Well, firstly, about Jack with the personality and saying is that he's a dominant for things as well. He is definitely not a true dominant personality. And what I mean by that is people that are dominant and in that type of personality style that he wants to be like, let's just say the Christian Grey style.
Yeah,
They don't need or seek the validation of others. So you'll see, for example, in some previous episodes, Alessandra speaking to him, and as he's saying, I'm a real dominant sort of lover. Here's what I'm doing. He's looking for visual validation with everybody else. So somebody who's a true dominant personality doesn't need that. Like you're firstly, in regards to that style and personality style, we gravitate towards charisma and confidence. If we don't have it ourselves, we seek it in others. And that's why people look for that style. And so part of that with Tori then is then her style and communication is she was talking from a self-perception point of view. I'm that strong-minded person, whatever. And she's continually has reminded and gone back to that. So that's a bit of self-speak or self-soothe as well, trying to recenter and manage that public perception. The other thing is what's underpinning her own, self-perception, self-awareness. Is she speaking to her perception as what she would like Jack to be? People don't say that because he's a caring person, a thoughtful person. She's speaking and relating to what she thinks our hopes is going to be. And now that he's dangled a carrot about kids in 2 years and these other things, in that sort of state for things as well, unfortunately, that just really has reset and got looking her forward focus. That's why you're seeing some of those responses. But I think I mentioned in an earlier video as well when she was just accepting some of these things. And so what's going to happen is she will accept this to a point, because imagine this situation where some of his comments in Muzzle Your Woman and other parts, if Tori had responded directly and assertively and said, what you've said, your moral compass is so not aligned with mine. I can't stand for this now. So there's too much disparity there. I can't support in the relationship. She would have had to support that with the word leave on her folder, and she didn't want to do that.
yes,
So she's had to, because her number one priority is continuing the airtime in these things. So that's why she's done that. So that's why I think I said earlier in the piece, she will accept this to a point until she realizes she's setting a bad example, and other parts she will suddenly start to get a bit of a voice. And I think 2 episodes later, all of a sudden you start to see some of these sort of things. So you're trying to map their behavior against their self-perception and self-vision, where they want to see themselves, what they're putting out to the public. That's what's altering some of her behaviors.
that's right. So she'll probably just overlook all these things until the last couple of episodes, and then you'll see the strong Tory come out and go, I
I
don't.
think she'll overlook or try and divert some major ones that would, because
Yeah.
of public perception, force her to write leave. So that's why she'll blindly just defend some of those. So she'll pick up a couple of points, for whatever better phrase, and shooting back on some, because to try and come back to that self vision of, oh, I'm a strong person. I'm not silly. I see these things. Some of the words that she said. But yeah, I think very late in the season you will see her come forward with a bit stronger voice, and as much about trying to public perception as resolve the issues.
and her friends like Lauren, and they have really challenged her as well, which I don't think she's liked, and I don't think she's welcomed. Like, and that's why she's had to say to them, no, I'm not a stupid girl. Like, in other words, you read my mind, I'm actually here for the show.
But yeah, so what you said is, so if you think about that, having with her friend saying that rather than saying, I agree with you, I see that, because then she would have to leave it, be more direct. Her response is deflective and just, no, yeah, I'm the person that understands, I'm intelligent, I'm stronger, all these sort of things. And so that's what you've called it 100%.
Yeah, thank you. And then I've got some questions from some followers. Cassandra has asked, are there some couples that are put on the show purely for drama ratings and have no intent on being married or in a relationship, or are they people who have legitimately applied for the show?
My answer to that would be a combination of both. That I don't believe that there is fake plants has been put forward, because some of the responses in relation and that I see from a behavioural point of view are quite strong and natural.
Yeah.
However, I do believe that specific personality styles would have been put on there as well, because they know that they're going to get that spark. And so people like, for example, like the Jack, who's I'm this sort of person, I'm confident, whatever else, even though his behaviours don't align with his self-perception, they know that they're going to be polarizing and cause some of the drama. So I think that there's been personality selection that would come along for that from the drama point of view. Like Collins never had the maturity, emotional intelligence, or relationship skills to be able to go through. That's why he also didn't have the maturity and cognitive depth to be able to process that. Hence why he's staring at a chicken or saying what a day 3 or 4 times, because he couldn't process what else to come back. And it's because, without boring you with it, like in the details, we all have between 30 to 35,000 words in our personal dictionary. So when we're asked a question, we run back to that mental filing cabinet, process what our response is going to be, and come back. If we're being deceptive, we need to run that through another filter where they're trying to create something from before, but make it sound in past tense that slows down our load. We run that through what we think also then now the public is going to be thinking about that in this case. So all those items causes a delay, causes some emotional leakage with the facial expressions and the words. Now, that's why Collins struggled so much, because he was having such cognitive load, because before he'd say a sentence, he'd get his words and then think, am I saying something that's aligned with the truth? Am I saying something that's aligned with going to be public perception and those sort of things? And that's why he struggled. So that's why you saw so many different eye referencing points and delays in other parts.
Oh, he was getting such strong reactions from people. And I mean, it was just, I just was like lost for words when I watched Collins. Like, I was wondering, A, is he like this in real life? B, is this just because of the cameras? And then he was getting asked, like, are you happy to be in a relationship? Oh, goodness. Hang on, sorry. Zoom just gave me a message. Are you happy to be in a relationship? And he's like, no. Oh, wait. What was the question again? Like, and all these sorts of, it was bizarre.
And repeating the question, those other parts as well, is just time fillers. Give me a couple of seconds to try and realign all these words that are falling out as I run back to my filing cabinet. So that's why they do that.
And there's a chicken. Anyway, so we've got 9 minutes left on here, it's telling me. So we've got another question from Sue Fan. She is asking, can you give a tip on how to read body language to work out if someone is into you or has a crush on you?
Yeah, I mean, well, a couple of things. So the first point I'd say is what drives a lot of our body language is the fact that, we used to walk on all fours. All our main areas were protected, and so now that we stand up, our areas are vulnerable. So our areas like around our neck, our vital organs are open. So when we've got discomfort or other parts, we cover those things up. So there's some element of people being relaxed, let's say comfortable around you first, because they'll have those power zones open. So their chin will be up. If you think about a young lady in a bar, when someone goes to buy her a drink, then she doesn't want that drink, she will duck her chin, she'll put her hands or her purse in her lap and will turn away. That's covering 3 power zones. So when you see the first sign would be that people are open and relaxed with you. When you see that comfort and openness, especially this chest area, our ventral area,
That's a good indicator. Even when you see people that are in groups, 2 or 3, if there's somebody you want to know their thoughts towards you, feet are one of the most honest part of the body. So in a group of people, people will point their feet and often their belly button area to the strongest social person in that group or where they have the highest interest. So when you see access to these ventral areas and these pointing towards you, that's a good indicator. The other one, I'm laughing because I'm just thinking what people's response and reaction is going to be. Our eyes can give some good indication. We blink on average 12 to 14 blinks per minute, but it spikes when there's stress or duress, and it decreases if there's something that either we find very interesting or attractive.
Oh.
So the other thing is our pupils also dilate. We lean into and want to take in more of what we like. So when you're speaking with people, if you see that their blink rate things are relaxed and they've got that lean in and being open, there's some of the probably the initial big indicators to show that person's comfort or has some element of attractiveness towards you.
That's good. I really love that. We're going to quickly touch on Lucinda and Timothy because we've only got 7. Sure. Yeah, so I just love Lucinda. Oh my God, I just feel like she's the most patient woman in the entire world. Didn't like her at first. She really quickly grew on me. She was too much at first, but then I think we all got her. We all understood her. And I can see why they put her and Timothy together now. And I'm starting to like them both as their personalities mature. Do you think anything will eventuate between them?
I think that when it comes to that dynamic, couple of things. One, she is incredibly emotionally intelligent, like a mature, because what she's realized that while she tried to have the traditional type of dynamic with Timothy, what he initially needed was somebody to hold space for him and show that support because of obviously history and things like that he's gone through. If you look at probably the last 3 to 4 episodes and the trajectory of their dynamic has been one point where Lucinda was a bit vocal of her support for him. And then I'm going to say, when I say offensive, as in more direct, not using offensive words, but more direct and vocal of that as well, as that's happened has been the bond. And I'd say that because there's some element of isolation and family going and other things, the way that Timothy has gravitated towards her now has been because of that vocal support. So where I think now is that there's definitely a more relaxed dynamic. We do, as we're with people in that stronger attraction, we mimic elements. It's called isopraxis. So we mirror or mimic some of their gesture patterns, what they're doing with their head and other parts. And what people may not realize is you see that now with Timothy and Lucinda. You didn't see that before. Now when they're sitting on the lounge, they've got their arms in the same similar position, mimicking each other, the angle of their heads and like things as well. And now similar, they're echoing each other in those elements. So that's showing a lot more comfort. And so that's why now you're seeing an increase in slight, like in regards to closeness. So that's proxemics, people need for space. We're seeing a range of those. So there's some really good indicators that have taken a long time to get there. Based on everything I see now, and this is a TV edit, there seems to be a lot more ground connection there. So I would say that there's a much increased likelihood of a stronger dynamic that's been forged that way.
I know. It's very exciting because you see Timothy give her a little peck coming up in the next episode, apparently. So,
I've just come back from traveling another, so I haven't seen the prep for the next episode. I mean, with the work that I do with the videos, I literally I take some notes as I'm watching the episode and literally just hit record and do it. So that way, while there's very little production value, like with your nice background and these sort of things, with mine. I haven't seen that prep. So, I mean, that's a logical extension, though. You saw that with some element of comfort, like with how they were with each other. So that's a good sign.
Just a quick little peck on the lips, but it's a start and you never know.
Yeah, definitely.
So many other people I want to talk about. I don't know if you remember Ben. He's left the show now, but I didn't feel like
Ben was a complete fake personality from the start, and he tried to overthink and micromanage that to the point that even when he had his guitar and said, "Let me just put that down," he put it right in the middle of the hallway against the table so the camera would always get his guitar. So he was completely image centered and focused, with that. His words reflected that. His non-verbals reflected that. At no time was he there for her whatsoever.
Oh, he was a waste of space. We're going to have to finish it up now. So that's a wrap on today's episode. But thank you so much, Scott. I learnt heaps. I'm going to listen to this episode myself and take notes, and I'm probably going to kick myself after thinking, oh my God, why didn't you ask him this, this and that? But who knows? Maybe one day we'll do another episode soon. Are you going to cover any more reality shows as well, like Love is Blind or anything else?
Because of some of the discussions that are happening currently, I'd say that there's a very good chance of that, because there's probably a few more things in the works now that have happened as a result of doing these sort of videos that I just didn't expect.
Yeah.
So yes, highly likely. So as I'm officially or formally made more aware, I'll share some stuff on the Instagram or on the TikTok channel.
Yeah, that would
I just want to say I'm really thankful for the opportunity, but also the conversations I'm having with people. So I'm glad that, I suppose, how I'm sharing it has been in a way that they're comfortable with. I'm really, really thankful for the support.
Yeah. No, it's so good. It's really, you're very easy to watch, easy to listen to. We learn something from you. So it's really great. So thank you so much for today. It's been a pleasure
Awesome.
talking to you. Thank you.
It's great to speak with you as well. Now you're going to go to your partner and just let them know how important these things picked up.
I'm,
Because I'm really glad.
Covering the power zone and all this.
It's those things that stuck with me. That's what I meant with these things, is like these things that stick. So out of while it's been a good conversation for me, I've stored the part seeing you light up and how you did that and the response and reaction. So that's why I meant the power for these things. So if I can help turn the light on some of these things for others, then that's great.
No, it's so good. But if I can suggest, Love is Blind, this latest season has been fantastic. And also Survivor would be a bad one to do as well, I think.
I want to get on Survivor, I think, because having the awareness and the ability to influence, that was definitely a goal of mine.
Yeah, I think that's a really good one for you as well. Anyway.
Awesome.
Well,
thanks, Bernadette.
Today. I really, really appreciate it. Thank you.
No worries.
Thank you. And I'll be in touch. All right. Thanks a lot.
See ya. Bye.
Bye.